Part 1. Before 1516, the land of the Chirua. Before European ships appeared on the South American coast, the land we now call Uruguay was inhabited by several indigenous peoples, most notably the Chirua, Guarani, and Shana. These groups lived as semi-nomadic hunters and gatherers, adapting closely to the rivers, plains, and forests of the region. They did not build great cities like the Incas, but their knowledge of the land and spiritual connection to nature formed a deep-rooted culture. Their world changed forever in 1516, when Spanish navigator Juan Diaz de Solís sailed up the Rio de la Plata. He was killed in a clash with the local people, a sign of the resistance that would define this land for centuries. Part 2. 1516 to 1808, a colonial frontier between empires. From 1516 to the early 1800s, Uruguay became a contested frontier between Spain and Portugal. The Spanish crown officially claimed the territory, but the Portuguese pushed from the east, establishing Colonia del Sacramento in 1680, a strategic city directly across from Buenos Aires. To counter this, the Spanish founded Montevideo in 1726, both as a military outpost and a future commercial center. These competing influences turned Uruguay into a buffer zone of imperial conflict, while also laying the foundation for its urban and economic future. Meanwhile, indigenous populations were gradually displaced, enslaved, or destroyed by disease and warfare. Part 3. 1808 to 1820, the rise and fall of José Artigas. The Napoleonic invasion of Spain in 1808 triggered independence movements across Latin America. In Uruguay, the national hero José Gervasio Artigas emerged in 1811, leading a rebellion against Spanish forces. He championed federalism, land reform, and social equality, attracting gauchos, peasants, and indigenous allies. Artigas' greatest moment came in 1815, when he controlled a large region known as the Liga Federal, including parts of present-day Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. However, in 1820, he was defeated by a combined force of Brazilian troops and Argentine rivals, and was forced into exile in Paraguay, where he would die in 1850. Though defeated, Artigas remains the spiritual father of Uruguay's identity. Part 4. 1820 to 1828, Brazilian occupation and the birth of a nation. After Artigas' fall, Brazil annexed the territory and renamed it the Cisplatin province. Uruguayans did not accept foreign rule. In 1825, a group of 33 revolutionaries, the Trinta y Tres Orientales, led by Juan Antonio Lavalleja, landed on the Uruguayan coast and declared independence. Their uprising sparked the Cisplatin War between Brazil and the Argentine Confederation, which ended with the Treaty of Montevideo in 1828, mediated by Britain. Uruguay was officially recognized as an independent, neutral republic, strategically positioned between two powerful neighbors. A fragile peace had begun, but it would not last. Part 5. 1828 to 1870, Civil War between Blancos and Colorados. From 1828 to 1870, Uruguay was torn by internal divisions. Two major political factions emerged, the Blancos representing rural landowners, and the Colorados urban liberals, often supported by Montevideo's elite. Their rivalry led to repeated outbreaks of civil war, foreign intervention, and political instability. One of the most brutal episodes was the Great Siege of Montevideo, 1843 to 1851, where the city endured nearly 9 years of blockade by Blancos and Argentine forces. Despite the violence, this era also forged a deeper sense of national identity, as Uruguayans, often caught between foreign powers, began to see themselves as truly independent. Part 6. 1870 to 1933, Reform, Democracy, and Modernization. Following decades of conflict, Uruguay entered a phase of modernization and reform from 1870 onward. The most transformative leader was José Batlle y Ordóñez, who served 2 presidential terms between 1903 and 1915. Under his leadership, Uruguay became a pioneer of social democracy. He introduced free education, secular government, worker protections, and women's rights. The country established a welfare state, abolished the death penalty, and promoted universal suffrage. By the 1920s, Uruguay earned the nickname the Switzerland of South America for its stability, progress, and neutrality. Part 7. 1933, Present, Crisis, Dictatorship, and Democratic Rebirth. In 1933, democracy faltered with a coup led by President Gabriel Terra. Although Uruguay recovered briefly, deeper economic and social tensions erupted in the 1960s. The revolutionary group Tupamaros launched guerrilla campaigns, prompting a violent state crackdown. In 1973, the military seized power, beginning a 12-year dictatorship marked by censorship, torture, and political imprisonment. Thousands of Uruguayans were forced into exile. Democracy was finally restored in 1985 with the election of Julio Maria Sanguinetti. Since then, Uruguay has rebuilt itself into one of Latin America's most stable democracies, known for its progressive policies, legal cannabis, same-sex marriage, strong institutions, and a high standard of living. From conquest to courage, repression to reform, Uruguay's history is a story of a small nation with a big heart and unwavering resolve.